Yo, the wide world of Twitter has done it once again, ladies and gentlemen. When I tell you that, you already know what it is. Twitter technology being used for good as it connects like-minded people, like-spirited people, and like-hearted people. Willie Epstein Jr., ShakeBack Sports Show OT, baby, right here, Saturday, a version of this podcast going immediately to iTunes as well as Google Podcasts as well as Spotify. Thank you guys out there for checking us out on YouTube Live as well as Periscope and Facebook. Man, I'm so excited to bring a gentleman to the stage. Coach Steven Tucker. He is the managing general partner, head coach of the Shreveport Mavericks in the Pro Basketball League out of Louisiana. He has 40 years in the game. This coach, man, this gentleman, this young man is a champion. He's a coach of the year, multi-time coach of the year, and just brings so much to the table in terms of coaching basketball, educating young men, empowering young men, and doing all those great things. We're going to bring him in here in just a second. But before we actually do that, you already know what we got to do. So here we go. Let's get it. Everybody, you already know what it is when you hear that music. It is a special edition of the ShakeBack Sports Show OT, powered, of course, by the BGC Sports Network. Willie Epstein Jr., man, your host. And as I said in the introduction, I am very, very privileged and proud and so very honored to have Coach Steve C. Tucker on the call with us on this Saturday. Let's bring him on in. Enough of the formality. Let's bring him on in. Coach, welcome to the ShakeBack Sports Show OT, sir. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Willie. I'm doing well. It's an honor to be on the show with you.
I appreciate you taking the time out, man. And I'm going to tell you, just like I tell everybody else, the first time you're on the show, you are a guest. But anytime after that, you are family. So now you are considered family and no longer a guest. So with that being said, you can go in the refrigerator whenever you want to. You can go and get your plate whenever you want to. You can fix yourself something to eat and all those great things that go a part of being a part of a family. So, all right, man, let's get right into it. So you are the managing general partner and head coach of the Shreveport Mavericks. I'm very, very familiar with the city of Shreveport. My wife is from there. I actually lived there for about a year back in the mid to late 90s. So let's talk about this latest vision or your latest chapter here with the Shreveport Mavericks.
Well, Willie, it's been quite a journey since last year and all we went through. And during the pandemic, I did a lot of soul searching, as a lot of people did, because we had a lot of time on our hands. And I made the decision that I wanted to bring the Mavericks back. We had been dark since 2017, and I got a hold of our former owner, Jerry Nelson, and had a long talk with him, and he gave me the naming rights to the Mavericks, and then I started looking at where I wanted to put them, and Shreveport became the logical spot. Great city, a great sports city, and I just knew that the 2 years we were here, from 2013 to 15, winning pro basketball back-to-back championships, national championships, going 66-0. I knew the fans would be very supportive, as they have been, and we just really thought this was the perfect place, and it worked out to be, and we were able to pull it off and get it done and play the 2021 season back in the basketball league, the TBL, and the magic of the Mavericks is still there. We've got a ways to go, but it's good to have them back.
Yeah, and when you mentioned Shreveport being a great city, a sports town, we all, of course, know that the Independence Bowl is there every year.
Yes,
there was a time where the Shreveport Captains, an affiliate of the New York Mets, were there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then they've actually had to have some state championship there games there, football state championships, particularly with Hurricane Katrina when it wiped out New Orleans. So you're right, it is definitely a great sports city. Um, and you live there now, is that correct?
I've made my home here. I'm here now, and I'm excited about being back in Shreveport and living here full time and making this my home. And it's a great place to live. Lots to do. A lot of great places to go eat. I enjoy the city, but most of all, I enjoy coaching here, and I enjoy coaching the Mavericks and being an impact within the city with our youth and with our coaches and with all the different sports. I've gotten very close to the athletic director at LSU Shreveport, as I am with the athletic director at Centenary. We played at the Gold Dome this past year. We played at LSU Shreveport. We're going to play at the Gold Dome the full season in 2022. And we're just excited about what we're doing. And I'm very happy to be in Shreveport, Louisiana.
And I'm pretty sure that Shreveport is very, very happy to have Coach Tucker as well. Okay, so you have the standards that you have set throughout your career in the world of basketball. Who is your influencing person that you kind of modeled your coaching style after, or better yet, just where you got your people skills?
Well, I would have to say Coach John Wooden, who coached at UCLA,
Mm-hmm.
had a great impact on me. He was a tremendous coach, but even more so, he was a tremendous man. And I thought he had tremendous people skills. And also, a mentor of mine was a guy named Dave Whitney, who I'm sure everybody in this area is familiar with, was the longtime coach at Alcorn State, was one of my first top assistant coaches in pro basketball back with the Mississippi Coast Sharks and the Mississippi Coast Gamblers back in the early 90s. And Coach Whitney had a great impact on me. And then my real mentor was a guy named Robert McPherson, who was the head coach at Sam Houston State. And he really kind of took me under his wing. And he taught me the business of college basketball, as Coach Whitney taught me the business of pro basketball. And then obviously, Coach Wooden was just a tremendous impact on me as a teacher in the game. And those are probably the three people who impacted me the most as a coach.
And when you say a great coach, but even a better man, that is one thing of all the coaches that I've had throughout my 10 years as a high school basketball player. That's one thing that people say. Before you can be a great coach, you have to be a great man. And none of that matters if you're not having any sort of real impact on the people around you and even people that you probably never meet. And even though you and I have never met, specifically in person, we've talked or we've texted on the phone or whatnot, but I can tell you already have an impact on me. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And then John Wooden. Let's go back to John Wooden because the legendary Wizard at Westwood and those teams at UCLA that included Lou Alcindor. Some people may know him nowadays as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Walton, Keith Wilkes, who ended up becoming Jamal Wilkes.
Yes.
Can talk about how it felt to be a coach that was a part of a program that was so dominant for so long.
Well, I got to spend the day with him at his basketball camp in Santa Barbara, California in July of 1984. That was the most impactful day of my life. And I spent the entire day with him, talking life, talking philosophy, watching him work with the campers. And at the end of the day, in front of 500 campers, he gave his Pyramid of Success talk. And he had a plaque with the Pyramid of Success on it. And as he finished that talk, he walked off the stage and he walked straight to me. And at this time, I'm 26 years old and a young coach starting out my career. At that time, I was at Sam Houston State University. And he looked at me and he said, "Coach, it's been an honor to spend the day with you." And I thought to myself, wow, it's been an honor for you to spend the day with me. I feel so much more. It's been my honor to spend the day with you. And he then handed me that plaque. And that plaque now hangs behind my desk here and has for all these years. And the lessons off that plaque and the lessons from that day really helped form my philosophy as a coach and helped me form my philosophy as a man in moving forward in my life. So I have a lot uh, to say that I'm indebted to Coach Wooden for helping me for not only the coach he is, but for the person and the man he was.
Absolutely amazing. And for those of us college basketball fans that or even ones that came after or that were born kind of after that era, you can't mention college basketball and the greatness that it is and that it had become and the spectacle that it had become with Final Four, the NCAA tournament and all that without mentioning John Wooden. And that that legacy actually has now flown through you and flown through flowing through coach or players that you have coached, also other assistants that you may have had that you have mentored as well. And why not? I mean, for God's sake, he has the best basketball player award in the country named after him. It's like the Heisman Trophy of college basketball, and that is amazing. So let's just talk about a little bit of your accolades. There's too many to mention, but one that I really want to hone in on was or is the 103 consecutive wins. Oh my gosh, that's like UConn like, but you're doing you've done it in the pro arena.
Well,
Talk about
people shake their head when they hear that or they read that. But when they research it and they find out that it was for real, that we didn't lose a game from 2011 to 2016, we won 103 straight games in a row, and that streak ended in February of 2016 in Rochester, New York, when we lost a game by 8 points to the Rochester Razor Sharks, and it began in January of 2011. And for all those years, we didn't lose a game. And within that, won back-to-back pro basketball national championships here in, in Shreveport, Louisiana, going 66-0. And it was a phenomenal record. And we had a very special team. We had a very special nucleus that made up the core of that team. And it was like nothing I'd ever seen in my life. And to say that I'll ever coach a group like that again would be far-fetched because I probably won't. They just fit. They fit off the floor as they fit on the floor. And they were a very unique group, very coachable, great people. They were better men than they were players, but they were a great team. And they were a great team to coach, a great team to watch. They played the game the way the game should be played. They didn't always play well, but they always played hard.
Mm-hmm. So when the streak started and really started getting into numbers that probably seemed as though they were unbelievable. Say you get to 20 in a row, 30 in a row. At what point during the streak did you or even the team, the players, actually say, "Yo, let's see how far we can really take this"?
We really didn't ever talk about it. We
Mm-hmm.
we just we just focused on the next game, and I think all of us knew the streak was there, but I think that's why it stayed alive for so long because we just focused in on the next game. I think that when we moved from Shreveport and went to Owensboro, Kentucky, and we'd won 93 straight when we left here. Um, it probably became more visible going into a new city and going into a new league, and they promoted it. And it was like we had a target on our chest and on our back every time we went on the floor, and we got everybody's best game. And we were able to win 10 more to make it 103, and then it ended. And it was like when it ended, uh, it didn't even affect us.
Mm-hmm.
We just said let's start another one, and we just went out on the floor and once again just focused on the next game.
Unbelievable. I mean, and to well, just let me ask you this, and you may have already answered it, and if you did, I apologize. But what did it take for you as the head coach to keep their minds off the streak itself, and better yet, to not even really speak about it while it was going on?
Well, I think focusing in on the next opponent,
Hmm.
making sure that we were prepared for the next opponent. Sun Tzu, the great Chinese general, said, "Never underestimate an opponent," and we took that philosophy on as a team, as I did as a coach. We've got to focus in on the next opponent. We got to get ready for the next game. And I think focusing in on that and doing our jobs in focusing on that, we didn't have enough time to think about any streak. We just wanted to win the next game.
And I've never coached on the level that you have. I mean, of course, I've coached some Pop Warner football here in Dallas, but we were kind of like the same way. We went undefeated until the very last game. So I wanted to ask you this because there was a game where we were down for the first time at halftime of a game, and we made the appropriate adjustments and actually came back and won it and kept our streak alive. So what I want to ask you about is the adversity that the team faced during that 103 game winning streak in terms of getting down in a couple of games with the wherewithal to come back and stay focused. Talk about the resiliency of those teams during that time.
Well, we were down many times. I mean, there
Mhm.
was many times during that streak that we were down. We could have easily have lost. We were down, you know, 20, 25, 28, 30 plus, and came back and won the ball game. We were in Dallas and we're down 28 midway through the third quarter. I called a timeout. We made some adjustments and went to a full court press, and we come back and won the game by 13. That's a 41-point turnaround in a quarter and a half. So there were many times that we could have lost, but we kept our focus. We did our job. We kept our eye on the ball, and we just went out and didn't worry about losing. We just were concerned about doing what we had to do to find a way to win.
Yeah, and as I'm sitting here thinking about it and listening to your response, I'm still like, I cannot believe that a team won 103 straight games because that's what I want to focus on or focus that question upon because there are going to be times I'm sure where uh, a team is not going to be in the lead the entire game, and for you to say that you guys are down by 28 points in the third quarter, in the
Yeah,
third quarter, coach.
yeah. We you know, I think the thing that the greatest thing about that team and that group was their focus and their mental toughness and being able, no matter what got thrown at them, they found a way to get the job done. And that was what was so special. And that's why I say I may never ever coach another team like that for that period of time, which over a 5 or 6 year period that those guys were really in their prime. They were just a joy to go out and watch them work because it wasn't about one guy. It was about the group as a whole and the group together. They were the foremost team, capital TEAM, that I've
Mm,
ever been around.
unbelievable. Once again,
I
this
have
is
no doubt in my mind at that time when that team was in their prime from 2011 to 2015, when they were in their prime, I would have played any pro team outside the NBA in the G League, whatever league that you want to play, and I don't believe they could have beaten us.
once again Willie Epstein Jr. kicking it with Coach Steve Tucker, man. We're talking basketball and life on the ShakeBack Sports OT. Thank you guys for checking us out on Facebook Live as well as Periscope and YouTube Live. So, Coach, I'm gonna let you get out of here in just a couple minutes, but just a couple more questions before we do that. 40 years in the game. 40 years in the game. That's a long time, and you had so many accolades. Is there one or two or three maybe specific things that have occurred throughout your illustrious career that really stick out the most? I know we talked about the streak. I know we talked about John Wick and the pressure that he's had on you. But anything else that you can actually recollect to that could actually point to some of the more, I guess, favorite, for the lack of a better term, favorite accomplishments that you've had?
Well, I think winning the four straight pro basketball national championships really sticks out. Obviously, the streak the 103 straight games and winning 104 straight at home. So those things really, really stick out, and just being able to coach the game, to work with so many different players, um, to take so many different teams to postseason play, and to be around so many great coaches really stands out in my career and my life. And I've been very, very blessed. I've been very, very fortunate, and I'd like to do it in the NBA one day, whether it be the G League or the NBA, the league. I'd like to do that. I'm now 64 years old, and I'd like to be a head coach on that level. I believe that I could be a head coach on that level, and I believe I could be one of the best head coaches on that level. So those are the things that stand out. I'm just blessed most of all to be just an old basketball coach coaching a game, and I love it.
And there you have it. I'm pretty sure everyone that has come across your path has loved you all throughout as well. They may not always like you because all of the great coaches, we players don't always like great coaches, but we understand that
That's because we tell you the truth.
And we know that it's for the betterment of the team and the betterment of us as individuals. Okay, Coach. So the next season starts when?
We'll tip off in the TBL again next March of 2022, first weekend of March. We'll go to training camp in mid-February. We got some tryout camps coming up. We're doing a lot of things in Shreveport. We're building partners. We're building bridges. We're getting excited. We want everybody to map up and get ready for the 2022 TBL season.
And it's coming real soon. So, and how can people follow you on social media?
Well, they can follow us on all the social media sites. You can also go to www.shreveportmavericks.com. You can get updates on what we're doing, the things we have going on, season tickets, sponsorships, all those different types of things of creating partners. And follow us there. Follow us on social media. And we hope to see everybody down the line in the Gold Dome, the legendary Gold Dome here in Shreveport, Louisiana, on the campus of Centenary University. We're excited about playing there. You can follow us. Come see us. Magic basketball. It's legendary and it's magical. Come and be a part of it.
Legendary and magical. Those are two words that will be etched in my memory from this interview from now until the end of time. All right. So for John Legend, who just came in talking, we're ready to go, man. Coach Steve Tucker, I appreciate your time. Once again, you are no longer a guest, you are family. Willie Epstein Jr. ShakeBack Sports Show. Y'all stay safe. Y'all take care of each other. Y'all love each other. Again real soon. Peace. We out.